Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today we have Denise joining us. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, guys.
So guys, really exciting story. So one of Denise's clients has a success story to share. Now, this success story is amazing because she actually recreated an ex, and they were actually apart for nearly 9 months. And she got him to basically confess his love for her and stuff. It's amazing. She completely recreated him, and she's does a really good job of hitting all the points and explaining that. So definitely get a pen and paper because there are going to be some intentions that she gives out. And of course, like always, we're going to go through the important points of how she did it so you guys can apply it to whatever you're looking to create and manifest in your lives. And of course, you know, when you listen to these success stories, watch your thoughts, your mental diet, use it as a catalog, say, oh wow, that's a great idea. She can do it, I can do it, I'm gonna be the next success story. So yeah, so exciting, I'm excited. Let's hear the story.
All right, here we go. Hi, Amanda and team. This success story is a little delayed because I wanted to wait after some time has passed just to build more confidence in my manifestation, but I'm so excited to be writing this to you today. I'm sorry this email is a little long, but it's honest and organic, and I wanted to make sure I hit every point so anyone who is going through something similar can relate and feel inspired. A little under 2 years ago, the love of my life broke up with me. I felt it was out of the blue, but it was something I probably should have expected. Either way, I was devastated and completely heartbroken. I was depressed, I couldn't get out of bed, and truly felt inconsolable. We both had issues to work on, but he ended it, and it was very clear he was done. Regardless of what he said, there was still a feeling inside of me that he was my person, and for whatever reason, I just couldn't let that go. I tortured myself for months, overthinking, and literally made myself sick. We did reconnect 9 months later when I had sent him concert tickets that I had purchased for us a year previously, and we slowly continued to see each other. Even though we were seeing each other regularly, all I could think about is that he wasn't ready, and I had a fear that he would leave. I manifested just that. That's when I realized just how powerful our thoughts are. I had been so focused on what I don't want instead of what I did want that that's what I created in my reality. I had been watching videos online, but nothing quite like the videos I saw on Create Your Future on YouTube. It just seemed very authentic and resonated with me. Shortly after I started speaking with Denise, and that's when I had a feeling of hope. She is so sweet and personable and had so much faith that I was capable of manifesting this relationship back into my life that I started to believe it too. I had manifested a lot of things effortlessly, but felt stuck with this relationship. She was very firm on repeating the thought of what you want, even if it may seem crazy, until I drilled it into my head and it just became a habit. Just for example, some of my thoughts were, and we've changed his name for this, Jerry loves me. Jerry only wants to be with me. I am the only one for Jerry. Don't get me wrong, I did have doubts, especially when I became aware that he was seeing someone. I blocked him on social media because I had heard he was seeing someone. I also manifested that. You are going to have your days of doubt and anxiety, but I promise you just have to drill into your mind, and I swear you will start to believe it. Even if you don't fully believe it 100%, as long as it's like 51%, like Denise told me, it will slowly start to manifest. Your belief just has to be the dominant thought. I decided to unblock him, and he started following me on social media shortly after I was really staying on top of my thoughts. It actually happened within 48 hours, and I knew things were finally coming together. The one platform I forgot to follow him on was Venmo, and one day I saw that he was still interacting with the girl he had been dating, and I felt like I had a mini breakdown because I just became so frustrated. Denise talked me out of it and just reassured me that I just had to keep repeating the thoughts I had been saying, and it will happen soon. During quarantine, my roommate and I had decided to adopt a foster dog who was as sweet as can be, but one night when I went to see a few girlfriends, I came home and found that the dog had killed one of my cats. I was completely devastated and a mess. The next morning, I woke up to a long message from Jerry saying that he was planning on reaching out before that morning, but that he needed to talk to me and that he had to just recently end the relationship he was in. I was shocked and couldn't believe it, but also a part of me wasn't because I knew it would happen eventually. A mutual friend of ours confided in me that he had told her he misses me and couldn't stop thinking about me. I played dumb, and before we were supposed to go for a walk, I was bombarded by 7 long paragraph messages from him. He told me he loved me, he couldn't be with anyone else, and that he couldn't stop thinking about me, and that he was so sorry for not realizing it sooner, and he wanted to tell me all this on our walk, but he had to get it off his chest. He said everything I ever wanted him to and more, and to this day I'm still shocked by it, but so happy. It's been about 2 months since we are back together, and we have talked about our future, our commitment to one another, goals, etc. We returned home yesterday from our first weekend trip together, and it was simply magical. I now know how important our thoughts are and will never clog my mind with thoughts of situations or things that don't work in my favor, because those truly do manifest if you focus on them. I know some of you, excuse me, I know some of you feel stuck, and I cannot tell you how many months I felt like that until I changed my thinking. I promise if you persist in the dominant thoughts that they will come true. Thank you so much, Denise, for the confidence and teachings that I will carry with me for my entire life and will teach to everyone around me. Amanda, you're so lucky to have such an amazing teacher on your team.
I am. Oh, that's amazing. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And guys, you know what? Denise is an amazing coach. Like seriously, like hands down. Amazing. Amazing. That is so awesome. I love that story. So he confided in somebody else, confessed his love for her to the other person, as well as said, like, there's all these paragraphs and pages. They're future planning together now. Like they're totally together. She got rid of a third party and she recreated him. Like, amazing.
Yep.
Yes, love it. So I think one of the things that I loved about the story that I want to point out about recreating somebody, and I think this is what really sets us apart, is when we talk about recreating somebody, it's more than just self-love of I love myself and everyone loves me. It's more of Jerry loves me. Jerry wants to be with me, because everyone is pushed out. So even if we say everyone loves me, but we've got a story that Jerry doesn't, then Jerry's not going to, because thoughts are things, and it's very specific and it's very intricate. So we've got to be very specific to rechange a story, because everybody is not going to include Jerry if you've got a different story specifically about Jerry. So that's one key point, guys, is what story are you telling about the person that you want in your life? Are you looking and having the opinion they want to be with you or not, right?
Yeah. I tell clients, I guess I use analogies a lot, but I tell them it's kind of like the gears of a clock or of any mechanism, where you have this whole story, but each gear is a different aspect of that story. So it's how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the person, how you feel about relationships, how you feel about the past situations that you've had with this person or other people. It's all the little areas, and they, like you said, it's integrated. So you've got to clean up all of them to get the mechanism moving.
Exactly. I love that analogy. That's exactly it. And past history, huge one. That's got to be revised. We've got to change the meaning of past history. You know, if somebody says, look, I don't want a relationship with you, you have two choices. You can make it mean that you're not good enough, or you can make it mean that they've got baggage and you're actually really good, you know, and then you can intend that they're over the baggage, right? Or if you make it mean you're not good enough, you can start saying you're good enough and that they do want to be with you, right? So it is, what do you make it mean is going to be the big thing here. But everything's empty and meaningless because you created it anyway. So.
Yeah. But you're going to make it mean something. So make it mean something that can support what you want, and get clear on what it means and stick to that and don't waver. And if you find that you waver, just get right back over. Also, don't beat yourself up or, dwell or worry about it. If you have a doubt, just keep flipping it. Keep getting back to what you want.
Exactly. And you know what? And you've nailed something there where you say, look, get clear on it, because you do have to get clear on all your stories. You have to get clear on all of those moving parts, because you have to tell yourself this story on repeat as a habit. And so you have to tell the same story. If you're all over the place with what your outcome's going to be, you're never going to get there. It's like putting a GPS in, going, okay, we're going to go to McDonald's. No, we're going to go to Burger King. No, we're going to McDonald's. No, A&W. You're never going to get to any one of them if you keep shifting it. So you really want to get clear on what the outcome is. What does it look like to be in a relationship with them? Are you future planning? Are you living together? Like, what are you doing? A relationship isn't just too broad, too general. There's a lot of relationships out there, even bad ones.
Yeah. What kind of relationship do you want?
What does it look like? What do you guys do together? Same thing, like, off topic, manifest money. It's not just how much money. What are you going to spend it on? What are you going to buy with it? Where is it going to be? You know what I mean? Like, looking at, and it also, and all those extra things add to it to reinforce it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. build that castle.
Exactly. So one thing too, we've got this question on the YouTube channel I thought you can answer is, I love your explanation on it actually, is what a dominant thought is, because I know people have asked, and she mentioned it in the success story. So what is a dominant thought? How can people know what their dominant thought is?
So you can start to know what your dominant thoughts are just by looking at what your current circumstances are. What are you manifesting? If you're manifesting things that feel like rejection or breakups or lack of money, then that's what your dominant thoughts are, because dominant thoughts will always manifest. So also, writing out the story, writing down what has happened and how you feel about it, that shows you what your dominant thoughts are. Like you've said before, Amanda, talk to somebody. They'll tell you what your blocks are. Especially, tell them your story, tell them your circumstances, and they'll tell right back to you, oh, well, this is what you've been thinking. So yeah, taking your dominant thoughts that are creating what you don't want and shifting them to support what you do want, and just repeating them till they become dominant. First, you're not going to believe it. You may not consciously believe it at all, but if you keep saying it, it will manifest. You'll start to see evidence of it, and that will help you believe in it, and then it keeps growing, and then it happens.
I think that's a huge misconception, is to think you have to believe it for it to create. Like, you don't. The only thing I believe is that my thoughts create. I've said things that I didn't even mean or believe, and they've shown up. Yeah. Really? Like, of course they did. Just because I was neutral, I had no resistance. I didn't care here nor there. And then sure enough, there they were. And it's like, really, and it's like, whoa, that's really where it comes from. It's just because we say it, we create a picture in our subconscious mind, boom, it shows up. Like, there it is, Yeah. So, that's the thing, right? So I think it's a block, thinking you have to believe it, or thinking you have to be in this certain mood. Sure, it helps to be in this great, God zone, right? But it's not a prerequisite to think I need to feel like that to create this. That's going to be a block. Just focus on what you want. You've got two choices: focus on what you want or focus on what you don't want. Either way, you're going to get what you want. Look at it this way. It's not like you focus on what you don't want. You tell yourself that you have to believe it and that you have to be in a good mood to get what you don't want. Like, you don't have to do any of that to get what you don't want. You just focus on it and you get it. Well, guess what? It's the same thing when you focus on what you want. You don't have to be in this God state. You don't have to be. Of course, it helps. It makes you flow in the zone when you are in that God state. And we've done videos on it. Like, it definitely makes the world a lot better and you to feel good. But again, if you focus on what you want, you'll automatically get in that, because your thoughts create your emotions. You'll be focusing on what you want. You'll feel good, automatically be there. Things will start syncing up, being in the zone, right? But to think that you have to get into those states to do this, they'll automatically fall in there for you when you're actually focusing on what you want. Because, just think of it this way: when you're like, oh, we're going to go to Disneyland, and you're excited, but then all of a sudden, just the thought of going makes you happy. Then all of a sudden it's like, no, it's been canceled. All of a sudden you get disappointed. The thought of not going disappoints you. Right?
Yep.
A little bit of a rant there.
But it was perfect.
Just to throw that in there.
Perfect. Yeah, you can manifest angry or sad or in any emotional state, but you also want to feel good, so try to think thoughts that feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that is really amazing, guys. So, and so those, I think, would be the key points. Get clear on what you want. Like Denise said, hit every point of the story. So how you feel about relationships, how you feel about the other person, how you feel about yourself, and how do you feel about past events, okay, in the relationship or with the person. So incredibly important. Clear up all those stories, right? And then, pick your affirmations and stick to them. Focus on what you want, and get clear on what it is, because you're going to have to keep repeating and focusing on that story, to start to shift it, to make it start to happen. And basically, if you have, like, let's say 100 thoughts in a day, you want at least 51 to be focused on what your story is, to start to make that shift, right? So you want to start to move that balance. The more you can put there, the better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tell my clients that whatever it is, the thing that they want the most, to try to give 70% of their idle time when they're not engaged in conversation, try to give 70% of that free time to affirming, mental dieting, thinking the thoughts about what you want.
Exactly. And then the beautiful thing is, right, is once you start to see evidence and you start to get the ball rolling, meaning you start to see it show up, you don't have to do as much. You can start to back off. And then because now it's become a belief because it's there. Once it's a belief, boom, 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 right? So your thoughts will, create and then create evidence. You can create beliefs. Once beliefs are created, well then, you don't have to put as much to it, but you can always shift beliefs from going back the other way, right? So, nothing's forever. It's so cute. I remember years ago when I first started, people, well, how long do I have to intend that he likes me? Well, the entire time you want him to like you, well, like 20 years, 40 years, I don't know, a day. I mean, pick one,
Yep. Yeah. You don't have to think it as much probably, but you want to make sure you don't ever think he doesn't like you.
Exactly, right? So, and so get used to it now, right? Start enjoying it now, and so even things like I enjoy doing a mental diet. It makes me feel good, but that's really what the huge key is. I wish we could make this more complicated for you guys. Like I really do, but we can't.
No, it's so simple.
But that brings me to one thing, is with the coaching, and just a few questions that there come up recently. So what we provide for coaching is we help you to find your blocks, help you to change your story, and sure, it may take one session, it may take more than one session. Everybody's a little bit different, but it's just like baseball coaching, they tell you how to stand, how to hit the ball, and and help you to play the game better and hopefully get there quicker, right? So rather than navigating it on your own, right? And so, these videos are like reading the book of how to play the game. But if you want to know how you can personally get better at your game and your manifestation, then that's what we're here for. So yeah, sometimes people get it in one session. Sometimes it takes more. Just depends where you're at. I remember I was in like an 8-month course learning everyone as you pushed out, and I enjoyed every single minute of it. And it's really paid off, in the long run. So, I mean, it is what you decide and what you make it to be. So yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, with that being said, if you are looking for any coaching, we do have the link in the description below, and we are still having our special promotion. So definitely check it out. And thank you so much, Denise, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.